Genesis 1, KJV. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to every thing that creepeth upon the earth. Wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw every thing that he had made, and, behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now, on to the commentary for Genesis 1. Genesis is a name taken from the Greek and signifies the book of generation or production. It is properly so called as containing an account of the origin of all things. There is no other history so old. There is nothing in the most ancient book which exists that contradicts it. while many things recorded by the oldest heathen writers, or to be traced in the customs of different nations, confirm what is related in the book of Genesis. In verse 1 and 2, God creates heaven and earth, the work of creation ended and approved. The first verse of the Bible gives us a satisfying and useful account of the origin of the earth and the heavens. The faith of humble Christians understands this better than the fancy of the most learned men. From what we see of heaven and earth, we learn the power of the great Creator. And let our make and place as men remind us of our duty as Christians, always to keep heaven in our eye and the earth under our feet. The Son of God, one with the Father, was with him when he made the world. Nay, we are often told that the world was made by him, and nothing was made without him. Oh, what high thoughts should there be in our minds of that great God whom we worship. And here, at the beginning of the sacred volume, we read of that divine Spirit, whose work upon the heart of man is so often mentioned in other parts of the Bible. Observe that at first there was nothing desirable to be seen, for the world was without form and void. It was confusion and emptiness. In like manner, the work of grace in the soul is a new creation, and in a graceless soul, one that is not born again, there is disorder, confusion, and every evil work. It is empty of all good, for it is without God. It is dark, it is darkness itself. This is our condition by nature, till Almighty grace works a change in us. In verse 3-5, God said, "Let there be light." He willed it, and at once there was light. And in the new creation, the first thing that is wrought in the soul is light. The blessed Spirit works upon the will and affections by enlightening the understanding. Darkness would have been always upon fallen man, if the Son of God had not come and given us understanding. The light which God willed, he approved of. God divided the light from the darkness. For what fellowship has light with darkness? In heaven there is perfect light and no darkness at all. In hell, utter darkness and no gleam of light. The day and the night are the Lord's. Let us use both to his honor, by working for him every day, and resting in him every night, meditating in his law both day and night. In verse 6:13, the earth was emptiness, but by a word spoken it became full of God's riches, and his they are still. Though the use of them is allowed to man, they are from God, and to his service and honor they must be used. God must have the glory of all the benefit we receive from the produce of the earth. If we have, through grace, an interest in him who is the fountain, we may rejoice in him when the streams of temporal mercies are dried up. In verse 14-19, in the fourth day's work, the creation of the sun, moon, and stars is accounted for. All these are the works of God. The stars are spoken of as they appear to our eyes without telling their number, nature, place, size, or motions. For the Scriptures were written not to gratify curiosity or make us astronomers, but to lead us to God and make us saints. The lights of heaven are made to serve him. They do it faithfully and shine in their season without fail. We are set as lights in this world to serve God. But do we in like manner answer the end of our creation? We do not. Our light does not shine before God, as his lights shine before us. In verse 20-25, God commanded the fish and fowl to be produced. This command he himself executed. Insects, which are more numerous than the birds and beasts, and as curious, seem to have been part of this day's work. The Creator's wisdom and power are to be admired as much in an ant as in an elephant. The power of God's providence preserves all things, and fruitfulness is the effect of his blessing. In verse 26-28, man was made last of all the creatures. This was both an honor and a favor to him. Yet man was made the same day that the beasts were. His body was made of the same earth with theirs. God forbid that by indulging the body and the desires of it, we should make ourselves like the beasts that perish. Man was to be a creature different from all that had been hitherto made. Flesh and spirit, heaven and earth must be put together in him. God said, "Let us make man." Man, when he was made, was to glorify the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Into that great name we are baptized, for to that great name we owe our being. It is the soul of man that especially bears God's image. Man was made upright. His understanding saw divine things clearly and truly. There were no errors or mistakes in his knowledge. His will consented at once and in all things to the will of God. His affections were all regular, and he had no bad appetites or passions. His thoughts were easily brought and fixed to the best subjects. Thus holy, thus happy, were our first parents in having the image of God upon them. But how is this image of God upon man defaced? May the Lord renew it upon our souls by His grace. In verse 29-30, herbs and fruits must be man's food, including corn and all the products of the earth. Let God's people cast their care upon Him, and not be troubled about what they shall eat and what they shall drink. He that feeds his birds will not starve his babes. Finally, in verse 31, when we come to think about our works, we find, to our shame, that much has been very bad, but when God saw His work, all was very good. Good, for it was all just as the Creator would have it to be. All His works, in all places of His dominion, bless Him, and therefore bless thou the Lord, O my soul. Let us bless God for the gospel of Christ, and when we consider His almighty power, let us sinners flee from the wrath to come. If new created unto the image of God in holiness, we shall at length enter the new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.